I'm about to kill you just for the hell of it.
Master Leaf.
Don't think I'll let you off easy.
Today we're going to be playing Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash on a 13-year-old i7 2600K. This CPU. Now this CPU will be overclocked to 4.4 GHz. Now I know it can be overclocked a little bit more, but my system will not be doing that because I don't have an adequate cooler. There is some other issues I will be showing you. So first off, this chip, this one, this one is awesome. While all it is, you wouldn't think it would be playable. If you think back at like let's just say a Pentium 4. A Pentium 4 CPU back in about 2013, around there, was absolutely useless. You couldn't do anything. It was even hard to just browse the internet. So this old CPU can still do things. Yes, it's not great. It's still slow. But you can do things. Okay, so my test system is of course the i7 2600K at 4.4 GHz, and I'm running it with 32 GB of DDR3 1600 MHz RAM. Now this is 4 8 GB sticks, and then for the GPU I'm running RTX 3060. Now the i7 will of course bottleneck it, it's kind of obvious, but it will leave us room to just test the CPU. Okay guys, now here is the system, the i7 2600K. Now first off, as you can see, here's a GPU outside of the system. Now this is the R7 260X. The reason it's here is because of this motherboard. This is an Intel DP67BG 1155 motherboard. You should never buy this type of motherboard. Reason being, the motherboard's UEFI support system or something like that for VBIOSes won't run newer cards. Now here is the RTX 3060. It's a new card. So how is it running? Now the basic principle is I'm starting the system with the Radeon card. I'll focus. I'm starting the system with this Radeon card, and the reason it's on a riser is I don't want to use the second 16X slot, making the PCI Express 2.0 bus running at 8X instead of 16. That would impact performance too much. So that's the reason why this GPU is outside. A lot of hassle just for this stupid motherboard. That's why you should never buy this type of motherboard. Now, that's the system. There's the 32 gigs of RAM, RTX 3060, i7 2600K, and this is actually a socket 775 cooler that I modified so it would fit. So this is a pretty janky setup, but it works. I'm going to show you the settings the game is running at when testing the i7. Let's just get into it. Graphic settings. Now I'm running borderless windowed mode. It's just easier. The monitor is 1440 by 900p, so it's not a big resolution. It's less than 1080p, of course. So this will actually make sure that the CPU is stressed and not the GPU. And no frame rate limit, resolution scaling at high, anti-aliasing at TAA, shadow quality at high, texture quality at high. And that's about it for this game settings. Not a lot indeed. This here is the frame time in milliseconds. Well, lower is better and consistency as well is better. And just below the other graph is the frame rate over time. This basically means each frame every second for over 400 seconds here. Now, for the frame time, you're going to see there's two giant spikes. Now this is due to loading screen / cutscenes that lowers the frame rate down to 60 FPS and probably lower with loading. And then in between those you're going to see the gameplay. Now there's of course some spikes. This is not a absolutely smooth experience, but for the most part it's below 8 milliseconds, which is not too bad for a 13-year-old CPU. Now you can get a lot smoother frame time with a higher core count CPU and newer cores, IPC games and such. As for the frame rate, mostly we are up into the 200s with an average of 210 FPS and the average frame times being 5.52 milliseconds. Now, for a 13-year-old CPU, that's absolutely fantastic. But I'll still recommend you just run it below, let's say 140 FPS. You're gonna still get a high refresh rate experience, but of course the CPU is not gonna be overworking, leading to less frame time spikes. Frame time spikes means stutter. So if you have less of those, it's very good. Now for MSI Afterburn overlay. Now the previous data was recorded without using any recording software, so I can get accurate data as I do not have a capture card. So this is captured in-game, so the performance might be a little bit less. So let's just get in. Now you can see my settings here. I'm running an Eishu Juvenile Detention Center with Yuji and so on. Now, as you can see, the CPU is running at around 50 to 60% usage at 4.4 GHz. And this is the frame cap I was talking about, at 60 FPS during cutscenes. Now, for the RTX 3060, it's not going to sweat at all. Now, this game is very clunky for some reason. It feels as if it's not responsive. Imagine you playing a game that has a grab mechanic. Now, literally every move in this game feels like a grab sequence. You're not feeling active enough in the game. So, as you can see, we're getting up into the 200s, 190, 200, with average of 160. That's due to the 60 FPS cap in the beginning. With 1% lows at 58 and 0.1% lows at 49, which is absolutely playable. Well, you can play this game very easily. Probably most systems would be able to play this game. As you can see, the GPU is actually going up into the 80s to 90% usage, which is absolutely not bad. Our bottleneck is actually a little bit less than I thought it would be. That's due to this high frame rate, of course. As you can see, frame times are not too bad, it's quite smooth. And Gojo is getting beaten down right now. And just when I said that, he beats me. With this game, you'll need to be predicting when to block before the attack really goes through, because of the clunkiness of the game I was talking about. Now this game doesn't use a lot of RAM. As you can see, it's only utilizing about 6.5 gigabytes of RAM. So that's absolutely easily playable, and as you can see also VRAM is not even higher than 3 gigs. This means this game will be playable on 3 gigabytes of VRAM or less. So that's absolutely not bad as well. However, I wouldn't recommend you playing this game actually. They need to do the fans a little bit better. I was excited about this game and very disappointed afterwards. I suppose it looks better to play than it actually is playing. Okay, the average frame rate is now at 187 with 1% lows at 59 and 0.1% lows at 55, which is absolutely wonderful. Now, would I recommend you buy i7 at this time? Well, absolutely not. But if you really get a score one for free or really cheap, you can still do things with it even in 2024. This is a 2024 game running on older hardware. As you can see, the utilization peaks around 92 to 95%. Not bad. Come on, Gojo. Oh no. Combination attack. At least the cutscenes look quite good. However, the game should not be a movie, per se. It could, if it's done properly, but... Okay, so we won. And the average is dipping now because of the frame cap at 60 during cutscenes. But there you have it. Totally playable on an i7-2600K. In conclusion, for the i7-2600K is it's absolutely not bad in 2024. It's not a useless CPU, and it can still do things that most CPUs back in 2012 that were 13 years old couldn't do. Now, that does not mean you should buy this CPU, because the motherboards are going to be expensive in the first place for how old it is. And another thing is there's a lot of cheaper options. Like you can just get an i3 10th gen i3 or like a Ryzen 3 3100 or something. On if you have a little bit of more money, an i5 600K or something. Now, that would give you a lot more performance. You're speaking about multiple generations, 12 at least to be exact. So, you should not buy the CPU. But like I said, if you can If you can get this CPU for a really good price and you just want to tinker with it, yeah, that's good as well. Or if it's for free, you got yourself a working system. Not bad at all. Now, if you like this video, please drop a like. You can comment and subscribe as well. That would be much appreciated. And thanks for watching. See you all next time. Goodbye.